Good evening, everyone who is listening to our daily top 5 gainers and top 5 losers analysis video for July 10, 2019. I'm going to give you my technical analysis together with what I'm seeing on my trade and volume distribution and true market sentiment charts. And also, I'm going to include my overall sentiment and recommendations for those who have had any of these 10 stocks, and also for those who are still planning to enter a new position in any of these 10 stocks. My name is JC De Guzman. This video is in preparation for the next trading day on Thursday, July 11, 2019. And by the way, I'll be in Cebu this coming Saturday. If you are a subscriber for 1 year, you can buy your ticket to attend the Evergreen Strategy in Trading the Philippine Stock Market Seminar at a 50% discount. Okay, so everything that I'm going to say here is for short-term trading purposes. Let's begin with Abacor. Abacor closed today at 0.98. Okay, 0.98. Let's see if it can maintain its position above the 0.94 level, which is acting as the midterm support as a precursor to a deeper support at 0.69. Your immediate resistance is at 1.09. Okay, 1.09. Actually, you can adjust this midterm support somewhere here, 0.88. Okay, that's just a range, so don't try to get the exact number up to the very last centavo. So what's the status of our 10 SMA and MACD combination? It's still absent because the last candlestick is still trading below the 10 SMA and MACD is still moving below the signal line. I expect the 10 SMA and MACD combo to become true again once the price is a lot closer to the immediate resistance than the immediate support. How about the status of our 4-point criteria? 3 of 4 are present. The last the VWAP is at 0.95. For the new subscribers, you might be wondering what's this 4-point criteria, what's this 10 SMA and MACD combo. There are several discussions that we have had in our private clients forum, and if you will be attending the seminar this coming Saturday, you're going to hear me explain those two things in great detail. Okay, so we are also using the 4-point criteria if we would like to preempt our 10 SMA and MACD combination, and we are also using that to get a second opinion about the bullishness or bearishness of our 10 SMA and MACD combination. Okay, just in case you are lost somewhere with our methodologies here, always ask in our private clients forum. Please don't post your questions through Facebook or via email. Just ask in our private clients forum. That's the only place where I can answer all subscribers with details. Okay, going back to Abacor. RSI is still quite distant from the classical overbought level, so there's a possibility for Abacor to just keep on bouncing away from to just trade the range. Okay, to trade the range between 1.09 and 0.88. Now it needs a lot more. It needs to maintain its volume above the 50% of the stock's 10-day volume average. If we would like to see it crossing above or breaking above 1.09, it needs that volume. It really does. Now let me show you Abacor's trade and volume distribution and true market sentiment chart. So the dominant range is between 0.94 all the way to 0.98. That's in favor of the buyers. Here's the true market sentiment. And the true market sentiment tells us that we got a bullish sentiment. Okay, here you go. It's bullish. I have highlighted the reasons how we got that bullish sentiment for the true market sentiment chart. Okay, 6 of the top 10 brokers registered a positive net amount, and 6 of the top 10 brokers also registered a higher buying average than selling average. So my overall sentiment for Abacor remains bullish. If you have had Abacor and it's still trading above your trailing stop loss, you have a data-driven reason to top up within that dominant range. And if you are planning to enter a new position while you have that go signal, that data-driven go signal to do a test buy, make sure that you are first happy with your reward to risk ratio before you do a test buy. Okay? Next, we have PHEN. PHEN closed today at 2.45. Support is at 2.21. Resistance is at 2.81. The 10 SMA and MACD combo is not yet true, although the last price is already trading above the 10-day simple moving average. The MACD line is still trading below the signal line, but I am already seeing a formation of a bullish convergence between the MACD and the signal line. But it takes, based on this, on the distance of the MACD from the signal line, PHEN needs to inch closer to the resistance at 2.81 for us to see a perfect, uh, for us to see a validation of our 10 SMA and MACD combination. I'm sure some of you might be thinking, well, when that happens, and if I'm just going to enter in a position once the 10 SMA and MACD combination becomes alive again, I already missed those low prices near 2.2. That's true. That's why I mentioned in my other videos that if you can't wait for the 10 SMA and MACD combo to be satisfied, met, or validated, you can do a test buy if the 4-point criteria are present, but I only want to limit that advice for the experienced traders. Okay, so mentioning the 10 as mentioning the 4-point criteria, are they all present in the on the chart of PHEN today? Let's find out. 3 of 4 are present. VWAP is at 2.43. Let's see if we got a perfect 4-point criteria. Let's check the trade and volume distribution chart. We got a perfect 4-point criteria for PHEN today. The dominant range is closer to the intraday high than the intraday low, and that range is between 2.43 to 2.46. Okay? How about the true market sentiment chart? This is how the chart looks like. And the overall sentiment for this TMS or true market sentiment chart is neutral. Why? 5 of the top 10 brokers registered a positive net amount, and only 5 of the top 10 brokers registered a higher buying average than selling average. Neutral. But my overall sentiment is bullish for PHEN. I repeat, the 4-point criteria are present. If you would like to do a test buy, make sure that you calculate your reward to risk ratio with respect to the position of the last candlestick, and with respect to the immediate support and resistance levels. If you are happy with your reward to risk ratio, do a test buy within that dominant range that I have shown you. If you have had PHEN for how many weeks already and it's still trading above your trailing stop loss, you also have some data-driven go signals to do to top up. I'd like to emphasize that RSI is still playing inside the neutral level. So if PHEN will continue registering volume, daily green volumes, that is at least higher than the 50% of the stock's 10-day volume average, this means that there's still more room for PHEN, more chances for it to break above 2.81. The positive DMI crossed above the negative DMI today, and that's another bullish signal. Okay, so that's it for PHEN. Moving on to the third stock, we have Tech. Tech closed today at 18.5, which with a good support coming from the volume. All the foreign investors registered a net foreign selling worth 1 million pesos. That's an insignificant amount. So let's not snub bigger participation on Tech today. So what's the status of the 10 SMA and MACD combo? I think it's still absent, although the price is still is already moving above the 10-day simple moving average, and MACD, on the other hand, has already registered a bullish convergence with the signal line. If Tech will close above 19 pesos per share, I think by the time MACD will have already crossed the signal line already. How about the status of the 4-point criteria? 3 of them are present. VWAP is at 18.21. Let's check the trade and volume distribution chart to identify if the 4-point criteria are perfectly present. They are. Your dominant range of 18 pesos to 18.5 is closer to the intraday high than the intraday low. The true market sentiment chart looks like this, and it tells us that the overall sentiment or the true market sentiment is neutral. 7 of the top 10 brokers registered a positive net amount, while 5 of the top 10 brokers registered a higher buying average and selling average. Neutral. Now, my overall sentiment for tech remains bullish. If you would like to do a test buy, even though the 10 SMA and MACD combo is not yet present, and if you happen to be an experienced trader, you can go ahead and do so within that dominant range, but make sure that you calculate your trailing stop loss first. Okay, just in case the price decides to go towards the southward direction, you're not clueless on what to do next. RSI has just recovered above the classical oversold level. So perhaps tech already met its classical bottom, or classical bottom or classical support at 15.9 or 15.80. 15.8 to 15.9. Okay? I am bullish now on tech. Okay, next, what's the fourth stock in our list? We have WPI. WPI closed today. Actually, it broke above the resistance at 0.8, which is now acting as its current support. So its latest resistance is now at 1.07, 1.08 if you would like to round it off. So the status of the 10 SMA and MACD combination is very alive. MACD crossed above the signal line today. So that's one bullish signal for you. How about the 4-point criteria? 3 of 4 are present. VWAP is at 0.80. 0.80. So checking the trade and volume distribution chart, I would say that the 4-point criteria are already present. Your dominant range of 0.8 to 0.83 is closer to the intraday high than the intraday low. Your true market sentiment chart is this, and the true market sentiment is neutral. Why? Because seven of the top 10 brokers registered a positive net amount, while four of the top 10 brokers registered a higher buying average than selling average. So that's a neutral sentiment, but my overall sentiment for WPI is still bullish. RSI is still giving us more room. Um, Towards the classical overbought level. So I think WPI still has more gas to play above the 0.8 level. Just make sure that you know where your trailing stop loss is so that you don't get stopped out too early in the game and you're not clueless on what to do next, just in case WPI would decide or will decide not to touch or not to play near 1.07. But the upward momentum is still very strong, as I can see on the DMI chart. Okay, so I am bullish on WPI. The fifth stock in our list is green. Green closed today in green also. Okay, it's a green candlestick. The 10 SMA and MACD combo is present on green, and the 4-point criteria, 3 of which are present. Let's check at before we check the trade and volume distribution chart, I would say that the support level is at 2.25 while resistance is at 2.9. The positive DMI already crossed above the negative DMI, and that's another good signal. What we want to see here is for the positive DMI to diverge from the signal line. Otherwise, green might just end up trading the range between 2.25 to 2.9. That's what we don't want to happen because number one, it bores me to trade ranges. I prefer trading trends over ranges. Okay, RSI is still far from the classical overbought level. Now, true market sentiment chart. So for WPI, no, not WPI, but green. For green, your 4-point criteria are present. Your dominant range is between 2.54. What's the closing price? 2.62. Your dominant range here is between 2.59 to 2.62. 2.59 to 2.62. Just in case it starts at a price lower than 2.59, monitor 2.54 to 2.55. If and when green starts at a price lower or higher than any of those two ranges, make sure that you post your request for the stock's latest true market sentiment and trade volume distribution charts in our private clients forum. The same advice goes for the other stocks or any stocks that you'd like to know or to check. Okay. Now for the true market sentiment, this is the chart, and the true market sentiment for green is neutral also. 6 of the top 10 brokers registered a positive net amount. Only 5 of the top 10 brokers registered a higher buying average and selling average. Okay, my overall sentiment for green is still bullish. It's still bullish for as long as it maintains its the height of its volume, like what it has been showing us for the past few weeks or months. But we need more than this. Otherwise, again, it will just trade sideways. It will just consolidate. It will just trade the range between 2.25 to 2.9. Okay, so what's my advice for those who may still have green? Either you hold your position or you top up. If you don't have green and you are planning to trade this, make sure that you ask yourself first, am I okay in trading ranges? Am I happy trading ranges? If you are, calculate your reward to risk ratio. If you are satisfied with your RRR, then do a test buy and calculate your trailing stop loss. Do not forget. Okay? Next, after green, we have Chelsea. C or Chelsea closed today in red at 7.35. It's at the brink of testing the support near 7.18. Resistance is at 9.10. If it breaks below 7.18, 6.21 is waiting as another support level, which is a precursor to a deeper support level near 5.07. So 7.18, 6.21, and then 5.07, and then 4.55. RSI is already past the neutral level, so it's now inching towards the classical oversold level. For now, I'm not seeing any signs of reversals, so it seems to me that traders are still heavy on Chelsea when it comes to selling. So the selling pressure has not subsided yet. And the selling momentum intensifies as the positive DMI dives below the negative DMI. Okay? So careful with that. Careful. Foreign investors registered a net foreign selling worth 4.5 million pesos today. So the 10 SMA and MACD combo has already been invalidated. Don't enter a new position on Chelsea yet. Sell once your trailing stop loss gets hit. You can preempt your trailing stop loss. It's a tall red volume. Preempt your trailing stop loss. Go ahead. But don't do a test buy. Don't average down. Don't top up. Okay? So for the trade and volume distribution chart, this is it. Your dominant range for Chelsea is between 7.35 to 7.7. That's a lot closer to the intraday low than the intraday high. This is the true market sentiment chart of Chelsea. And it tells us that the true market sentiment is neutral. 5 of the top 10 brokers registered a positive net amount. 6 of the top 10 brokers registered a higher buying average than selling average. So I am bearish on Chelsea, needless to say. After Chelsea, we have ISM. This stock closed today at 5.63. Let's see tomorrow if it can sustain its position above 5.56. But apparently, by seeing the size of today's volume and the bearishness of the foreign investors, it seems to me that the descent in price is still more likely to continue. It might break below 5.56. But let's see tomorrow. Sentiments change when things change. The downward momentum is still very strong. RSI is inching towards the classical oversold level. Let's see if that oversold level is really at 5.56 or maybe around the 5 peso flat. Let's see. Okay, foreign investors registered a net foreign selling worth 14 million pesos today. The 10 SMA and MACD combination is it's already false. It's already invalidated. Here are the trade and volume distribution and true market sentiment charts of ISM. The dominant range is between 5.63 towards 5.7, 5.63. We can say 5.6 to 5.7. It's closer to the intraday low than the intraday high. The true market sentiment for ISM is bearish. 4 of the top 10 brokers registered a positive net amount, whereas 3 of the top 10 brokers registered a higher buying average and selling average, so bearish. My overall sentiment for ISM is bearish. Avoid this stock for now. After ISM, we have CHP. CHP closed today at 2.72, it broke below the previous support at 2.88, which is now acting as its current resistance. The immediate support is now at 2.33. The 10 SMA and MACD combo has already been invalidated. RSI is downward sloping towards the classical oversold level. That could be anywhere between, that could be at 2.33. The positive DMI already dove below the negative DMI. So a change of sentiments already. Okay, change of sentiments already. So make sure that you respect your trailing stop loss. Do I see a reason to preempt your trailing stop loss? Yes, I do. Preempt your trailing stop loss. Should you enter a new position? Forget about it. Okay, at least for now. But these are the trade and volume distribution and true market sentiment charts of CHP. Okay, this. The dominant range is between 2.72 to 2.75. There are three dominant ranges, 2.72 and 2.75, and then you have 2.83 to 2.86, and then you have 2.9 to 2.95. But the dominant one is the one closer to the intraday low than the intraday high. Okay, two of the three dominant ranges are closer to the intraday high than the intraday low. Therefore, it's bearish. This is the true market sentiment chart. And the true market sentiment for CHP is neutral. 3 of the top 10 brokers registered a positive net amount, whereas 7 of the top 10 brokers registered a higher buying average and selling average. My overall sentiment, therefore, for CHP is bearish. You've heard my advice a while back for those who have had it and for those who are planning to enter a new position. Okay? Avoid it for now, guys. After CHP, we have PIP. Pepsi closed today at 1.71. Support is at 1.55. Resistance is at 1.94. I see no stopping on the bearishness of PIP yet, meaning to say I see no signs of reversals. No signs of reversals yet. It hit, like what I mentioned in the previous videos, 1.94 was a selling spot for PIP. That was also the time when RSI hit the classical overbought level. The 10 SMA and MACD combo has already been invalidated. The positive DMI is downward sloping, forming a bearish convergence with the negative DMI rather. I suggest that you wait near support at 1.55 or whenever the 10 SMA and MACD combo becomes validated again or whenever the 4-point criteria sprout once again. So for Pepsi, it's a trade and volume distribution chart. The dominant range is closer to the intraday low than the intraday high, and that's between 1.7 to 1.70, 1.7 to 1.8. The true market sentiment chart looks like this, and the sentiment it gives us is neutral. Five of the top 10 brokers registered a positive net amount, while 6 of the top 10 brokers registered a higher buying average than selling average. My overall sentiment for PIP is bearish. I see a data-driven reason for you to preempt your trading stop loss. So that's for those who have had PIP. Okay, it's either you hold your position or you preempt it. Sell by selling a few tranches. Lock in some of your gains already. It's a tall red volume already, guys. Now, if you are planning to enter a new position, set that aside for now. It's not yet time. They are still busy selling. You don't want to buy at a price that could go lower. Okay? So after PIP, last in our list, we have Web. It closed today at 3.9 after bouncing away from the resistance at 4.16. Support is at 3.45. The 10 SMA and MACD combo is still alive. It's still alive, but the positive DMI, what do you expect? It's already downward sloping together with RSI. Do I see a data-driven reason to preempt your trailing stop loss? Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, there's a towering red volume bar. Okay, it's a red volume bar that is higher than Web's 10-day volume average. So you have two options. If you have had Web, hold your position for as long as it's trading above your trailing stop loss, but do not top up, do not average down. Or you preempt it by selling a few tranches, maybe half or maybe a few tranches. It's up to you. and set aside also the plan to enter a new position. It's not your time yet. It's not yet a good time to enter a new position in web. Wait for the dust to settle down, as I always say. So the trade and volume distribution chart of web tells us that the dominant range of 3.9 to 3.9 to 4 is closer to the intraday low than the intraday high. And your true market sentiment chart looks like this. And the sentiment is neutral. 5 of the top 10 brokers registered a positive net amount, and also 5 of the top 10 brokers have or registered a higher buying average and selling average. My overall sentiment for web is, or my overall recommendation is, it's bearish. Well, it's technically bullish, but I am bearish for those who are planning to enter a new position. There you go for my bearish sentiment for you if you are planning to enter a new position. I've given you my advice if you already have it, or if you're just if you're just in the planning stage of entering a new position on web. Not yet. Don't enter yet. So again, Cebu City, I'll see you on Saturday. Okay, I'll see you on Saturday. There are still a few seats left for this seminar. So if you are interested, you are entitled to receive a 50% discount if you are subscribed for 1 year at Equilist Analytics. Okay? So if you have follow-up questions, please post them in our private clients forum. Again, my name is JC De Guzman. God bless your trades on Thursday. Bye for now.